Okay, we are live. I cannot believe I'm back doing another YouTube video. It has been a while, you guys, but I am so excited to film for you and talk about this topic that is so important that affected me for over a year of my life, multiple years in fact, which is burnout. So I wanted to make this video on how to heal from burnout and also how burnout basically rips you of your feminine energy. This is something I didn't fully realize until I hit true burnout, which was from studying for the MCAT for around 8 months, a little bit longer than 8 months. So first, I'm going to give you a little bit into my story with burnout. I started studying a lot since high school. Since high school, I was in the full IB program, International Baccalaureate program. I was taking 21 or 22 credits as a senior in high school. Just crazy, right? I was doing a lot. I was waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning, getting to the gym, working out, and then I would go to school for the day. So after school, those days I would go to ACT prep and I was studying for the ACT, and then I was doing homework on top of that. And then I also had sports practice starting up for a lot of that year too. So what it would be like is the 5:30 a.m. wake up, 5 to 5:30 a.m. wake up, go to the gym, go to school from 8 a.m. to 12, go to PSEO course at a community college, and then usually back to school for one more class. And then I would have sports practice, like Nordic skiing is what I did in the winter. And then I would go to ACT prep after ski practice and then go home and study. So craziness. That was high school. I get to college, pre-med, all of college. That was 3 years. And I was studying organic chemistry, general chemistry, physics, all of these classes. I was studying a lot in college. It did not slow down a whole lot in college. I was still doing 6 a.m. wake ups. Excuse my dog, very loud. I was still doing 6 a.m. wake ups, and it was very overwhelming. Now, then it got to MCAT studying, and I joined a test prep program. I did MCAT studying for 8 months. It got to a point where I was so determined to get my score up, and my mental health totally suffered because of that, because I was studying 8 to 12 plus hours a day. There were so many days I would start studying at 6 or 7 a.m. and not be done until 8 or 9 p.m. And I did that over and over and over with 0 rest days. I do not know how I did it. In that moment, I felt like a machine, but soon after, when that burnout hit, I remember taking my MCAT. I was heavily burnt out at that point, and I was halfway through the test and I just was not feeling it. I was honestly in a weirdly relaxed state because of how burnt out I was. I couldn't even feel much anxiety at that point because I was so emotionally numbed. And so I remember saying at that point, God, you need to tell me right now if this is what I'm meant to do, because if not, I'm going to back out. I'm going to follow your word. I'm going to follow my intuition and you speaking through me right now. And I looked up at the ceiling for about 5 seconds. I was like, God, you need to let me know right now. And that instinct right in my stomach was saying, no, you are not supposed to be doing this. And it was in that moment when I realized, I felt it, and I felt it fully, that this is not what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't supposed to be taking the test. I wasn't supposed to be in pursuit of this. And it's hard to put that out there because I had put so much effort into this test, right? But I realized in that moment, this is not the time. This is not my time. So I ended up not submitting my score for that exam. I avoided my exam. It doesn't show up as one of your attempts or whatever. And then I finished that. I had never felt better, you guys, after being done with studying for the freaking MCAT. It's an 8-hour exam. I had taken probably 10 practice exams too, so that in itself is 80 hours of test, right? On top of all the studying I had done. So I remember after finishing that test, I felt so good because I was done with it. I didn't have to burn myself out any longer. I was past my peak of burnout, past my max. And I went into journal mode. I was going on walks on the lakeshore path with my twin every day. I was going to the gym. I was just enjoying resting for once, right? And then I ended up going to Colombia. If you guys, follow my Instagram, it's Sophia and Marie. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see I posted about my trip to Colombia. I went to volunteer with kids. I've always wanted to be fluent in Spanish, and I love kids. And I was so ready after all of that hunkered down studying to get out and see the world. So I took a solo flight to Bogota, Colombia, and I stayed there for 2 months volunteering with preschoolers as a native English teacher. And it's so cute seeing all these little preschoolers speaking Spanish. I was like, I've never seen little Spanish speaking children. It was so cute. And they think that their language, so they're like talking to me fully in Spanish, and I'm like, sí, oh, en verdad, like talking as best as I can in Spanish, but not fully understanding them. My Spanish got a lot better, by the way. But that was also so nice. I was seeing the world. I was trying these amazing, delicious foods. I was traveling to little tiny towns outside of the city on the weekends. I was only working 4 days a week from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. I wasn't making money because I was volunteering, but I was getting free housing and 2 meals a day. And, being able to see these kids and being a very nice, safe part of Bogota. So that was nice. Then I came home and I had finished my trip and everything. And I was really questioning my career again, if I wanted to go back to medicine. I even ended up planning to study it for the MCAT again. And in all of this, I felt a sense of dread, that feeling of dread, like, oof, this does not feel good. So I decided to not study anything, like to not really look at the med school route anymore and try to open my eyes to other opportunities and other things, So that's my story. Now let's get into burnout, because you might point this out about yourself and realize all this by yourself, but I have my notes here. So my notes I'm going off of, just some things to write out. So the first thing that I wanted to bring up is the science of burnout. I will tell you what happened to me, and I will tell you how to know if you're burnt out. Number 1, weight gain and puffiness. Like that puffy cortisol face is what I call it, because my face got so puffy. It was always puffy, and the cortisol, the stress, was causing my skin and my face to inflame, and my body too felt puffy. I felt bloated. I felt just like a balloon of water, basically. And I ended up gaining like 10 pounds during studying for the MCAT, which is crazy. I've gone through bulks for bodybuilding, for powerlifting, and not once have I gained 10 pounds that fast. And a lot of it was, I think I didn't realize that I was stress eating, and my body was still in a healthy BMI range, of course, and everything, but I was just the thickest that I've been, So that's one thing though. I didn't feel the best in my body, definitely not. I remember door dashing a few times, like sushi, poke bowls, and stuff, and that was my reward after the days of studying. And I will tell you guys too, I didn't feel I was eating too unhealthy, but it was definitely less healthy than I had ever eaten. But somehow it just spiked my weight gain, and I realized later that cortisol actually in stress makes you gain weight, makes you hold on to weight. You know why? Because your body cannot tell the difference between you being chased by a bear, or there's a famine happening, there's lack of food, there's food scarcity. It cannot tell what is happening. It just sees that stress and sees it as a threat and says, we need to go into survival mode. We need to save energy. We need to conserve energy. You end up getting more prone to weight, specifically in your belly midsection, storing fat there, storing fat in general. Your blood sugar increases. Oh, it's all not good stuff, but your body holds on to weight. And I remember thinking, feeling like this extra weight, and I was trying to start eating healthier to get my weight down a little bit, and I could not lose anything for the life of me. My body would not let go of this weight until I was done studying, until I said, I'm done with this. I am healing from my burnout. The weight dropped. It's insane. It's insane. It felt like almost this fast, the weight was dropping. And I wasn't in extreme calorie deficit. I was eating normally. I was just living and I felt happy, you guys. That's what did that. That is what did that. So that weight gain is one thing. I also want to talk about something called the Yerke-Dodson law, which is the law of optimal arousal. Basically, it states that we have an optimal stress and performance ratio for our success. Basically, if you have really low stress, you have a chance of having very low success. If you have moderate stress, that is the peak performance. So right, if you're moderately stressed about something, you're more likely to have peak performance. And then if you're overly stressed, that's your performance declines. So I'm going to show this curve. Hopefully I can insert a picture, but this basically where I was overly stressed and my performance was just dropping like crazy, right? And it increased a lot at first because I was studying my life away, right? And then it just went down. So that the weight gain and the stress, absolutely, without a doubt, I can tell you, are heavily correlated. And if you don't even realize that you are that stressed, you might have to really take a look at your life. See, am I feeling stressed on a daily basis? Am I overworking myself? Am I doing too much? Is this why I feel like I'm not the happiest in my body? Is this why I feel like I'm not the healthiest in my body? You know? Okay, so another thing, your sleep quality will decline. Let me tell you something crazy that was very unhealthy that I did. I did not pull all-nighters. I have never pulled an all-nighter except for when I worked overnight shifts as a CNA, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 12 hours. Crazy. That was hard on my nervous system. But you want to know what was almost worse? I would say I would get so tired midday because of starting to overstudy that I would drink an energy drink at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Sometimes it even got to 7 p.m. and I was still studying all day long. And it would be 7 or 8 p.m. and I'd be shot, right? Just so tired. And I would drink energy drinks at that hour. Never in my life have I done that before. I would sip an energy drink. I would just sip it, so I wouldn't drink a lot. But that any amount of caffeine takes about 8+ hours for caffeine to be out of your system. That would stay in my system and I would not sleep. You can drink caffeine before bed and think you're sleeping, but your sleep quality is not optimal. It messes up your circadian rhythm. So of course my circadian rhythm was just shot, right? And so I would be drinking energy drinks at all time throughout the day, and then I would randomly wake up at 2 a.m. for an hour during the middle of the night and want to study. I would wake up at 5 a.m. and want to study for 2 hours, and then be so tired I have to go to bed for an hour and then, or nap for an hour and then go back to studying. All insane. My sleep declined. My sleep quality declined. My circadian rhythm was just messed up to the max, the most it's ever been. So that's another thing that happens. Another thing that I need to point out, nervous system sensitization. What does this mean? Nervous system sensitization is where you feel like you are more triggered than normal. You are more likely to cry without reason. You are more likely to just feel emotional at random times without really understanding why. You are more likely to be sad and triggered by things that maybe normally wouldn't make you as sad because you're as sensitized. Your nervous system is more sensitive, okay? And so I remember feeling emotionally weak during all this. I was acting like I wasn't because I was studying like crazy in my full masculine mode. But that's the thing, is that I was not connected to my feminine energy. I was in chronic masculine mode, burnout. It was crazy. And so I noticed that behind all the studying, after all of this, there would be times that I would just be crying because of stress, crying without even an exact reason, just randomly at a time. And it's because your body will do that, because your body will never lie to you. It will try to tell you if you're stressed, okay? It was doing that to me. Did I listen? Do you think I listened? No. Nope. I was too stubborn. I wanted to keep studying everything, keep doing as much as I possibly could. Of course, the burnout got worse. This is the worst burnout I'd ever had in my life, you guys. It was bad. So the weight, the sleep, the nervous system sensitization. Another thing I want to talk about is that with the fat storage and stress, we have two hormones responsible for our hunger and fullness. We have ghrelin and leptin. When you are lacking sleep, your ghrelin, your hunger hormone increases. That's why if you wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. one day, you try to go through this whole day, you will feel hungry because it increases your ghrelin to do that, your hunger hormone. So lack of sleep increases ghrelin, and stress also increases ghrelin. So you're gonna feel hungrier with both of these things, which of course leads to that weight gain. And then also simultaneously, it slows down your leptin. Your leptin is what makes you feel full. So when we have less leptin, we're not gonna feel as full. We're not gonna get that fullness cue, and you're gonna be stimulated. You're gonna be thinking that you want to eat more. Okay. This all, I'm just thinking in my mind, why is stress so evil? Why is stress doing this to us? And I will say, again, like I said earlier about the Yerkes dogs and law, it's good to have some stress. It is good for us. We need some stress. Humans need some stress and stimulation. We're born to go through stressful situations. In our evolution, we used to go out and hunt animals. We used to go out and risk our lives. Like, that is stress. And that was good stress because we would have to fight to keep ourselves and our families alive. But now, these days, you know, if you're sitting and you're studying 12, 13 hours a day and burning yourself out, that's not healthy. It's not good for you. It depletes you of your feminine energy, this creative flow, because you're constantly in masculine go, go, go mode. The feminine energy lives in the body. Okay? This is the intuitive feeling that we have when we dance, we create, we do art, we channel our passions. This is feminine energy, and our masculine energy lives in the head. Okay, so feminine energy in the body, masculine energy in the head. This is our logic. This is our work mode, right? This is our structure. This is something that if you live in that fully as a woman, if you're fully in your masculine and never retreating to your feminine energy in your body, you're going to constantly live in your head. When you constantly live in your head because you're so stressed, you're not working on yourself. You're not doing inner work. You're becoming less intuitive. You are not leveling up to that highest self, that highest woman, the highest being with confidence and standards. You may even notice if you're burnt out or if you're living your life away through work and academics that you might attract worse men. You might allow your boundaries, your standards for men to lower because you don't have this time to really think about yourself and your values. You're so occupied with work in your masculine energy that you don't let your feminine lead you. You don't let your feminine intuition lead you to the right things for you. The things that are going to be the most fulfilling and rewarding to you. So you go for less than. It's so crazy and it's so true. Okay, so now I want to focus on how can we heal burnout, because you can do it. I've done it. I am currently still doing it. This has been, let's see, it's February. It's been 9 months and still I am actively working on burnout. I'm studying burnout, seeing why it's so important to recover from it and how to recover it. And I'm analyzing my own situation to help you guys, okay? Because I want anyone going through this to be able to heal from burnout. I will say, number one, it's going to take you longer than you think to heal from burnout. And one of the best things that you can do, and this is going to be an obvious, rest, okay? You need to take your foot off the gas pedal. You need to. Otherwise, if you don't take your foot off the gas pedal, what's going to happen? Why don't you answer that for me? You're going to keep going in this cycle of stress, this hamster wheel of stress. There's no point where you're going to get off and just flow because you're constantly stuck in that hamster wheel, okay? You have to step off the wheel and let yourself rest a bit, okay? So for me, this is completely stopping the MCAT studying. I said, nope, this is hurting me so much mentally and physically. This is causing my well-being to go like this so much, and it's just not worth it to me. It's not worth it. And hopefully you don't think that that's worth it to you, because hopefully you prioritize your health first, your mental health and your physical health, okay? And they're both gonna be affected by burnout, clearly, as I told you. So rest, number one. And I have this saying that I wrote down, which is rest, re-regulate, and replenish, okay? Rest, number one. So that is getting your sleep back on track, okay? Resting. This is having less tasks to do during a day. Take some time to just have light structured things, okay? So you still have your gym routine, you still have your physical fitness routine, you still Maybe you want to cook every night. Maybe that's still your routine. Maybe you want to call your friends every whatever, maybe every Thursday or whatever, you call one of your girlfriends. Okay, that's light structure. That's rest, okay? And then rest, re-regulate, and replenish. Actually, I like rejuvenate. I could say re-regulate or rejuvenate. What does re-regulation mean though? Regulation to me is all of these necessary things that we need to have for our optimal health on a daily basis, right? So re-regulating your circadian rhythm. This ties in with rest, but when I say re-regulate, I want you to focus on your sleep. I want you to focus on getting 8 hours every single night. Focus on using alarms less if you're able to. If you're able to let your body naturally wake you up. For the first few months, you might be sleeping in until 10, 11. Let your body do what it wants to do, okay? You're gonna be sleeping in later than you have before. After a large period of burnout, you're gonna be sleeping in more than you probably ever have wanted to, and that's good. Your body needs that, needs to heal, okay? This is a long-term healing. We're looking at the future. We're trying to quantum leap, right? We're trying to get our health in the best place possible, not just for now, but for the future. And your body needs that. We need a long-term healing, right? Re-regulate your circadian rhythm. Re-regulate your diet, okay? Focus on nutritious whole foods. I don't eat dairy. I've always had weird problems with dairy where I get phlegm in my throat and I'm like, like constantly clearing my throat. So I say no dairy. And there have been numerous studies on how dairy affects your skin, how dairy is, actually I had a breast cancer physician I shadowed once years ago say that one of the leading causes of breast cancer for many women is dairy consumption, because you're stuffing your body with extra hormones. And those extra hormones, it's throwing off your own, right? So I always drink almond milk, okay? If you eat dairy, that's fine. You do you, okay? I'm just saying for me, like, this has made me feel so good is to not eat dairy. And then whole foods, okay? Whole meats, beans, legumes, chicken, and grass-fed beef, turkey, lean turkey. I love all of those. Rice, sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. I have this amazing recipe, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you cut up the sweet potatoes in these little like coins, right? Like this. You cut them up. You spray a light spray of olive oil, and then you bake those sweet potatoes at 425 for like 20 to 25 minutes. Take them out of the oven. You mix together a consistency of tahini, it's ground sesame seed, with honey. Honey, superfood, okay? It's one of the best natural sweeteners you can use. That and date syrup, both of the best natural sweeteners you can use. I think maple syrup is also great, but I love honey. So mix honey with tahini, just like that ground tahini. It's like a nut butter, but it's very kind of bitter, but the honey just lightens it up. Mix the honey and tahini, you drizzle that on the sweet potatoes, sprinkle with a little bit of white sesame seeds. It's a superfood, delicious, healthy fats. Women, we need our healthy fats, okay? It's for our skin, it's for our, the health of our female reproductive system and everything, and our hair, our skin, our nails. We need healthy fats, and I love getting my healthy fats in. I love coconut, okay? I eat coconut like multiple times per week, probably. So, replenish your diet. You will feel so good eating whole healthy foods. You will feel so good. I am amazed consistently by how the food we put in our bodies makes us feel better. I'm showing up right now and I'm like full of energy and happy because I had a very good diet today, a very healthy diet, okay? So it's very, very important. I should definitely do a what I eat in a day sometime soon for you guys. But that's part of the replenish. So we have the sleep, we have the diet, and then replenish. Oh my gosh, I love this one. Replenish and re-nourish your female friendships, okay? If you have a close connection, close group of girls, lean into that. Start seeing them, one-on-one, no phone, no distraction. Go out to dinners with them, go out for coffee, have these nice, intimate conversations and reconnect, okay? Reconnect about life, reconnect about your inner world, okay? Open up to these women, open up to your friends, and really reconnect, because we as women, we need our female connections. It literally is, it's a sisterhood, and it's so important for our emotional well-being. It's something like men and women both offer different things, right? So if you're in a relationship, you have a boyfriend, like he's not going to be the same as a close girlfriend, you know what I mean? As a close female friend, I mean. So you and your boyfriend will talk about things, but that female connection is also so important. So I think it's important to have both that feminine energy, masculine energy, but having another healthy source of feminine energy is going to help you replenish yours, okay? And then my last one, which is, oh, I was already on replenish. Amazing. I was like, I want to replenish. Okay, so that's with those female connections. And then another thing that you need to replenish is your passion and your feminine energy. How do you do this? Okay, well, your feminine energy is, like I said, lives in your body. This is our creative life force energy to create, to do our passions, our hobbies, art, dancing, even reading or journaling, decorating, anything, right? This is feminine energy. Look at my room. I just put up these cute little butterflies today. I actually asked my dad to help me. He did it, help me do it. But that's feminine energy. Like, I'm creating, I'm making my dream room. I love my purple colors. I love my dream room. Okay? So replenish your hobbies. Start doing things you love. Start taking dance classes again, or yoga classes, or spin classes, or going to some sort of creative outlet for you. Likely and hopefully involves music, because music also really gets you in that flow state. Okay, all of these things, if you put in the effort and the work to do this, is going to change things for the better. You are going to heal from that burnout. You are going to level up in a whole different way, a whole new way. You're gonna be a different person than you were in that stress state. And if you're watching this and you're the person in that stress state, I'm telling you, there is beauty on the other side. On the other side of difficulty is always sweetness, okay? You can make this difficulty into something sweet, but that is up to you. You have to decide that you want that. So that's everything I wanted to say in this video. I'm starting a podcast too. This will be uploaded to the podcast, and it's called Divinely You by Sophia Emery. And there I'm going to share my wisdom, and we're going to talk about inner work, holistic health, just advice and wisdom, confidence for women, help you guys really like nourish that feminine energy, that life force energy within you, and helping you guys attract your desires and your dreams, and changing your mindset to be able to do that, because let me tell you, that is a mindset. I also have a TikTok account, so make sure you can check that out, and Instagram account. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time, especially if you watched this whole thing. Oh my gosh. Kisses for you. I almost said besitos, because I'm studying my Spanish, and besitos means little kisses. So besitos para ti. And thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.